This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris. Welcome to the Humble Bottle. Well, we're moving on to another region of the world that makes amazing wines, and that is France. Now, French wine is produced in several regions throughout the country, and they produce between 7 and 8 billion bottles of wine a year. Many of the grape varieties that we know and love have come from France. Things like Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Sauvignon Blanc, and Syrah grapes. They originated in France, and now they're planted throughout the world. It's also true that several of the winemaking practices and styles of wine that originated in France are copied and imitated in other wine-producing countries. In this series on French wines, we're going to be looking at 6 different regions throughout the next few months, and the first region is Bordeaux. Bordeaux is a large wine-growing region, and as you can see on the map, it borders the Atlantic coast, and it has a long history of exporting its wines overseas. Now, it's primarily a red wine region, and it's famous for wines such as Chateau Lafite Rothschild and Chateau Latour. In fact, the Bordeaux region has about 7,000 wine chateaus. Now, Bordeaux wine takes its name from the region's main city. However, you can't find any vineyards in the city itself. The vineyards start at the boundaries of the city of Bordeaux. The climate in Bordeaux is generally temperate. It has a short winter and a high degree of humidity because it's right on the ocean. It also happens to be the second largest wine growing area in the world, and it encompasses almost 300 acres. Many times when we hear the word Bordeaux, we immediately think, oh, this has to be a red wine, and 88% of the time it would be a red wine. But it's also true that any wine produced in this region is called Bordeaux. Now, in Bordeaux, almost all of the wines are blended wines, and they produce a wide variety, anything from a full-bodied or medium-bodied red wine to dry and sweet white wines. So let's look at the red wines of Bordeaux. Well, because of where the region is situated and because of the humidity off the ocean and the abundance of sunshine hours and warmth they get in the region, even into the autumn season, it produces some amazing red wine grapes that make some fantastic wines. Now, in United Kingdom, you may come across a wine called a Claret, which is in fact a red Bordeaux. So if you see Claret wine, you know that it comes from Bordeaux. And all the red wines of this region are usually blended. They use a combination of Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and Merlot grapes to achieve these great wines. Now, in terms of food pairings, of course, anything beef, lamb, you can go with grilled poultry like grilled turkey. And if you're interested in serving it with some cheeses, a camembert, a brie, and a roquefort go great with a red Bordeaux. Now let's talk about the white wines of Bordeaux. Well, actually, before World War II, most of the wines that were produced in Bordeaux were white. And in fact, up until the 1970s, Semillon, which is the main grape used in their white wines, was the single most planted grape in Bordeaux. Now, the white Bordeauxs are usually a mix of 80% Semillon and 20% Sauvignon Blanc. Now, it's interesting to note that the white wines of Bordeaux are actually more labor-intensive and complicated to put together than the reds. White grapes are known for being more delicate than the red grapes, and they have to be picked at just the right peak of ripeness and handled very gently to avoid oxidation. Now, red wines are fermented in huge steel tanks before being put in barrels to age, but because of the delicacy of the white grape, it's fermented in small oak barrels, each which have to receive individual care to make sure that a secondary fermentation doesn't take place. Now, in terms of food pairings, the dry white wines are great as an aperitif. They're wonderful with seafood and chicken and fresh goat cheeses. And the sweet wines, of course, they always go great with desserts. In our next episode, we're going to be learning about the wines of the Burgundy region of France.
For more information on this episode, go to our website and visit the Humble Bottle show notes. Also, if you have any questions or ideas for this show, send us an email. Thanks for watching. Cheers!